are discussing about a ruler today who gave up war. Can you think that a king, mostly we are discussing about a time when all the kings, they concentrated just to spread their land. That was a time when the kings are grabbing land from each other. I am talking about a time when Alexander the Great, he came to India, he invaded India. He then after the war fought with Puru, he left India just only by seeing a huge Magadhan army, that his soldiers felt that they cannot fight with them anymore. And being a king of such a mighty place, Magadha, a king gave up war. A king preached for non-violence. A king first time had shown that interest, that whatever he followed, that must be followed by his next generations also. And that is the reason he started writing them down. The first thing we got written history, that is from the great king Ashoka. Before I come to before I start telling you about Ashoka, I need to tell you something about his family, from where what is the family clan he belongs. After Alexander the Great, he left India, there was a vacuum, because Nanda dynasty at that point of time in Magadha, they are ruling, and the last Nanda ruler, Dhanananda, he was a very bad ruler. He was very cruel. He hardly has any interest to do some betterment for his subjects. So this was a time when a young boy, he was a youth, and he was searching for some opportunity, that he has an eye on Magadha. He wanted to rule on Magadha and give people a better life to live. He was Chandragupta Maurya. With help of his friend, philosopher and guide Chanakya, a Brahmin with a huge knowledge in politics, with a very good knowledge in economics. Even today, his books in politics and economics, the Arthashastra, that is very much meaningful even today in India, in the world of politics. Maybe it is in India, maybe outside the world. These two people, they joined their hand together to destroy Nanda dynasty and give the people of Magadha a peaceful and good life that they deserve for. So, Chandragupta Maurya was the first king who uprooted Nanda dynasty by killing its last ruler, Dhanananda, and he was the king of Magadha. He established this dynasty that is called Maurya dynasty. Why it is called as dynasty? What is the meaning of that word? Dynasty means when a clan, a family clan is ruling a place one after another, generation after generation, we call it as dynasty. So, it was started by Chandragupta Maurya along with Chanakya as his minister, prime minister Chanakya. We find that this is a time when there are several cities in this in the northern India, that is Patliputra, Takshila, Ujjaini. Takshila was the gateway to the northeast. At the same time, Ujjaini lay in the route of north to south India. So Ujjaini was the place which actually was the bridge between north and south India. And many officials, they started, now this is a time not only in the city, a group of officials were appointed to help king to serve the king for the administrative purpose. In the villages, there were farmers and herders. They are mostly in the central part of India. We have found there was a forest. Now, even the people, those who are living in the forest, those people also, they need to collect some of the natural things like honey or other forest made thing, and they either trade or supply it as taxes to the king. These emperors, they need more resources because they need to rule that entire area. They need more resources. So to do that, they appointed some of the officials to get taxes for common people. These taxes can be of two types, cash type, cash or kind. They can pay by the means the king is asking, like by the jewelries they have, by the money, by the means of money. Mostly it was part of their production. If they are in agriculture, mostly the 1/6 part of their production they had to pay for tax. Even the other occupation people also, they need to pay taxes. The king utilized those taxes in the form, even they can give one day work, whatever they are, they can work for one day for the king or for the city. That also was considered as tax. These all was actually utilized to develop the city, to develop for the development of the common people. Ruling the empire, it was not that easy at that point of time. You cannot imagine today when a political leader, if they want to come to Hyderabad, our president is coming to Hyderabad, maybe it is taking 2 and 2.5 hours of time, and he is reaching here. He can easily discuss some important issues with our CM, and immediately went back to immediately can go back to Delhi and again resume his work there. But it was not that easy at that point of time. So the king has to depend on many people, those who can give him continuous messages, news from his nearby villages. So Mauryan kings, we have seen that they appointed many messengers, those who are continuously on move to pass on news, the news for the common people to the king. Here we have seen that espionage system, that is a spying system in Mauryan time, it was very much improved. It was first started by Chandragupta Maurya. Even at the time of Ashoka, we have seen that it was developed a lot, and these spies was given such a big responsibility that even if the king is sleeping, they were allowed to enter in the bedroom to give some important message to the king. That was the priority given to these spies. There were many other areas of the provinces. Every province, it has its own capital, and mostly the royal princes, the prince, they were given responsibility to look after the provinces under the king. Now these beside, there were areas between these centers. Here the Mauryas, they built road, they controlled those areas, that whoever is passing, they have to pay some taxes. Everything was utilized properly for the development of their city Patliputra or the nearby villages, the requirement of the royal places also. Here we have seen that the people, either they are giving taxes or the traders they are giving as tribute. The traders used to give tribute whenever they are coming and they want to do some trade in the major cities like Ujjaini, like Patliputra, like Takshila, because they need to please the ruling authority at that place. They are carrying lots of things with them. They need protection. Even they need to utilize the marketplace to sell out their product. So they used to give a tribute to the king or the ruling authority. There, even in the forested region, the tribal, the people, those who are in the forest, they used to give elephants gift, or elephants or timber or honey or whatever the nature made products they can collect, they used to give it as tribute to the king. Taxes were different, understand that, and tribute was different. Tax was fixed, that they have to give tax fixed by the authority for staying under the authority. By means of getting security and all other whatever the betterment in the lifestyle they expect, they need to pay tax to the king. tribute was different. Tribute was not like tax, because these people are not the direct subject of the ruling authority. Tribute was something that was given maybe for a particular time period, in a particular time period when they are visiting the place, or they want some advantage from the ruling authority. So these are the major differences between tribute and taxes. So this was the overall situation of the society, the time when Ashoka became the king. Now, if we see the timeline, family clan of Mauryan dynasty, Chandragupta Maurya, I told you that he was the founder of the dynasty. Next, Bindusara was his son. There is a small story to tell you about Bindusara. It is said that this is the time when most of the king, they were poisoned. To kill them, people use poison to kill the king, to get the clan or get the throne or the control. Now, to save Chandragupta Maurya's life, Chanakya actually giving him a little poison every day in his food, that he can be accustomed, and nothing from outside can harm him, his body. But this was even unknown to Chandragupta Maurya also. So one day he shared his food with his queen, unknowingly that this food has some poison, and his wife was died due to that. Again, I am telling you, it is a story. And they said that time is his queen was pregnant, and he gave birth immediately, Bindusara, and his son Bindusara. And Bindusara, there is a reason he has a black spot on his head. That means Bindu means a dot, and Sara means poison. So his name also derived in this way, that in his forehead there was a black spot. They said that one drop of poison he carried in his forehead for his lifetime. So after Chandragupta Maurya, Bindusara was the king, but and after Bindusara we have seen Ashoka. Now, Ashoka was not only son of Bindusara. There were 100 brothers. Other 99 brothers Ashoka had, and naturally there was a fierce fight between brothers to take the throne, to get the control, and he was not the eldest, because at that point of time there was a custom that the eldest son must get throne of the king, but he was even not the eldest, neither he was not the only son. So his first life, the life of, though he was a unique ruler, but to understand how he was, we need to know his life. Ashoka brought up with a very cruel mindset. He was called as Chanda Shoka. Chanda means who is very angry, cruel type of person. So his name was changed as Chanda Ashoka, and he was very much fearful towards even his own brothers. After death of Bindusara, he killed all his brothers to get the throne, and it is said that even after he declared himself the king, he was not, his coronation ceremony was, he has to wait for 4 years to complete his coronation ceremony, because other 4 brothers of Ashoka was alive at that point of time. He killed all of them, and then he coronated himself as the ruler of Magadha. With this background, what we have seen that Ashoka was, there was nothing different, no difference between other kings and Ashoka. Till here Ashoka was a very cruel king. Like many others, they are fighting for their to expand their territory. They are fighting among their family to get the throne, and he was just one of them. Then the day that incident happened that actually changed Ashoka's life, and we as Indian, we are proud to say today that we got such a king who changed the mindset of people completely. He fought, he won so many people, not by fighting the fierce battle, but by loving them. he won their heart, and they were made it very peacefully. Let me tell you about Kalinga war now. Kalinga is a very small place in Orissa. Actually, Kalinga means Orissa. So it was a place in Orissa, and the army, this Kalinga ruler he had, is no match with the mighty Magadha army. He was at all no way. It was just to stand even in front of the Magadha army. They know that, but all of them, even the common people, they came out to fight, not only the soldiers, to protect their homeland. This was the only place that was not captured by Magadha rulers, not in the Magadha map, the Kalinga. So Ashoka thought that he has to capture that place. Now, after Kalinga war, when his minister came back and reported that yes, they won Kalinga ultimately after the day's war, Ashoka was standing on the top of a small hill beside Daya river. Unknowingly that is a river, he asked his minister that what is a red blood stream I can see from here. His minister answered that is actually a river with the death of almost 50,000 people. The color of water that changed to red. Ashoka was really shocked seeing that, and that was there was a change in his mind. The result of Kalinga war was 1 lakh prisoner and almost 50,000 people was died. Ashoka started thinking about it. Ashoka started thinking the way to solve this problem. Ashoka started thinking that the way that site, what exactly he got after even after he won Kalinga. It is just only a mere land piece he got, because all the people, those who make that land fertile, they are no more. Either they are the prisoner or they are died. This changed Ashoka's thinking. This changed Ashoka's philosophy a lot. And Ashoka accepted Buddhism. He started strictly following non-violence. Now, here also we have not seen any difference. Many kings we find that they afterwards also will find that they gave up warfare, and they themselves they started following a particular religion. Now, even this is not the end. Ashoka not only he accepted a new religion and accepted non-violence in his life, he started preaching it, spreading it to all his people. Maybe in one point of time, it is not only his own subject, but it spread even outside that. It spread outside India. How it happened, let us discuss on that. Ashoka spread a new ideology, way of behaving, that he named as Dhamma. Ashoka's Dhamma. So Ashoka now was Chandashaka. After Kalinga war, we started calling him as Dharmashaka, who is following dharma or religion religiously. He started spreading an idea how to behave. It is a code of conduct. Ashoka's Dhamma is not any religion. It was influenced by Buddhism, definitely, because he accepted Buddhism in his life. But it was not any religion, Dhamma. The original word is Dharma, that means religion. The Prakrit word of Dharma is Dhamma, and Ashoka called his code of conduct as Dhamma. Here he asked his children, that means his subject. He used to call his subject as his children, that he is a father figure, and he has to look after all his subject equally. So he started telling them how to improve their lifestyle by following Dhamma. To do that, for conducting that, he appointed many Dharma Mahamatras, that means the officials who are responsible to spread this ideology, the code of conduct, among his people. He spread Buddhism, he supported and practiced non-violence not only in his life, but he spread them among his subjects also, among the people. With peace and love, he started conquering people by leaving warfare. Now this is the time when we have seen that Ashoka started developing his cities. It is not only that he is religious and he is just concentrated on the religious matter. It is not only that. We have seen that in Ashokan period there are many roads, shelters for the common people, those who are traveling from one place to another place. He made many shelters like that in the roadside. He made many roads that people can move from one place to another place safely. He provided that safety to the travelers. No more, and as mindset of people, he was able to change the mindset of his subject. We have seen that the theft, robbery, these also was reduced. It was not there. People started believing each other. People was honest. They started behaving honest and kind to each other. He not only for human being, this is the first time in India we can see that veterinary hospitals were started. There were hospitals for animals to be treated free of cost, and the king was responsible to bear all the economical burden to run this type of organization, the hospitals and all. Ashoka has done a lot to improve our country, his own places. But we have seen that many of the inscriptions also was they are actually was there, and they are actually the great source of knowing about Ashoka and what happened at the time of Ashoka, because Ashoka was responsible to give reasons to his subject. It is not that by an authoritarian ruler he just ruled that place, but he has written down, he ordered his people to write down the reasons why he left warfare and what is his new ideology and how it can be spread, how we need his subjects to help them, help each other as well as to help king to spread it. He spread Buddhism outside India. He sent his own son and daughter Mahendra and Sanghamitra to Sri Lanka to spread Buddhism. Other than Sri Lanka, even far away China also, he sent his representative to spread Buddhism. And now wherever in the world other than India we can see Buddhism, we can see direct influence of King Ashoka to spread it outside India, and to help people to think that it is not warfare that can make people gain and be happy. It is in other way also, by gaining confidence of other people, by gaining love and their peace and spreading peace also, people can win many places without even a single bloodshed. Indian history is enriched from the time of Ashoka, as he has we found many edicts and inscription. The Sarnath pillar, the one you know as Ashokan pillar, the Ashok Stambha and Ashok Chakra, that is our national symbol. We are using, you can see that everywhere, even in our national flag and the currency notes we are using. That is because we gave that respect to this king, because this king actually changed the ideology and represented the true ideology of India. Now after ruling for 40 years, at the age of 72, in 232 BC, 232 BC, Ashoka breathed his last. He left behind a legacy of an able ruler who won millions of hearts, not even by just only following a single truth of life, non-violence. And he spread that not only in India, even outside the India, because that was the main thing we can say about India, that is non-violence. India never invaded any of the countries, though it was invaded by many of the countries, but India never invaded any of the countries from the prehistoric time till date today. Unfortunately, after Ashoka, some few problems arise because people forgot how to fight, and the other of his in his family clan, other members of his family clan, his son and his grandson and all them, they were not that able king like Ashoka, like Chandragupta, that they can have that control on the entire dynasty. Naturally, after Ashoka, we have seen a gradual declining trend in Mauryan dynasty.